The following is a production of Harvard Business School Video.
In the world of international partnerships, Corning Incorporated's success is legendary. More than 25% of Corning's consolidated sales are generated through joint ventures with foreign companies. Since 1924, Corning has used its unrivaled glass technology to pursue new opportunities in faraway lands, extending its reach from a sleepy upstate New York town to developing markets around the world. Corning expanded into South Korea in 1973, where it partnered with the Samsung Group to manufacture specialty glass for television sets. In a world where fully two-thirds of business partnerships fail within 5 years, Samsung Corning has flourished for the last quarter century, reaping unparalleled profits in the television glass industry. What are the keys to this enduring international partnership? What challenges has each side faced along the way? What can other businesses learn from Corning's success dealing with partners half a world away?
In the global economy, partnerships have become one of the most effective ways for companies to expand their market reach, to see their technology used in new markets, and in fact it's even required in some countries that you have a local partner before even entering that market. But for companies that have terrific technology, finding a partner that has an application for that technology and market access can be a terrific way to become global, to extend international scope very quickly without having to build your own unit. Use the capabilities of the partner. For a company like Corning, partnerships have always been a key part of the strategy. Think about where Corning began. Corning, New York, a small town, a tremendous technology company that understood that if it found great applications for that technology, the company could grow. And its values, as small-town values, were always more cooperative, more collaborative. We don't have to own it all ourselves in order to make it work. In fact, if our partners also have a stake in the venture and want to make it succeed, then we have not only Corning people pulling for us, we also have the partner wanting to make it work.
"25 years ago, the Samsung Group was a $30 million conglomerate little known outside of Korea. Its holdings were diverse, ranging from construction and textiles to finance and entertainment, and it was looking to find a way to make its move into the consumer electronics arena. Samsung was eager to exploit a rising Korean demand for television sets, but it lacked the glass technology needed to manufacture them.
We had a market here in Korea. We have financial resources. We have management people, the technical people, very quality workforces. So what we wanted was the glass technology.
By the time Samsung approached them, Corning was already experienced in international alliances. With factories in 6 countries and an 8-year-old joint venture producing specialty glass in Japan, Corning knew what it wanted in a partner.
The first thing you look for is, are our value systems compatible? And other things such as, are there relatively equal contributions? I mean, are we putting in something that's relatively the same value, or over time will be the same value as what our partner has put in? That are the companies kind of relatively the same size?
We try to go with people that have leadership positions. I mean, we have if you look at Corning's businesses, there are very few, if any. In fact, I can't think of one where we are not a leading market player in the segment that we've chosen. So we're always looking for somebody who's a leader.
The joint venture should be the sole vehicle for this particular endeavor, or activities so that you don't compete with each other. You'd like that the joint venture doesn't sell to one of the parents, that you get inherent conflicts. You'd like that you didn't compete geographically in the same markets.
In February of 1973, Samsung and Corning began contract negotiations to create a joint venture company. Corning would provide its highly classified glass technology and 50% of the startup money. Samsung would contribute the labor to construct and operate the new factory and the other half of the startup capital. Through the partnership, Samsung stood to acquire the advanced technology and new manufacturing skills it needed to become a leader in the Korean television industry. Corning would gain access to a rapidly expanding overseas market. After just 3 months of talks, the partners signed the joint venture agreement.
It was not a difficult decision to make that Samsung was a partner, that Korea was a growth possibility, that they needed a partner. They came looking, we were looking, and it was pretty easy decision. It was power that they had, technology that we had.
The new company was set up as a 50-50 venture. The equal contribution of the partners was reflected in its governing board. 3 executives from Samsung and 3 from Corning would make all the major decisions.
We've always felt that a partnership, to really be successful, you have to really have both partners engaged and both partners feeling they're getting equal benefit from the partnership. And if you get unequal ownership, unequal control, invariably one of the partners feels kind of oppressed. And maybe they don't want to put their best technology into the partnership because they don't own and they don't control it. So there is an element, I think, of sharing that comes along with a 50-50 type of partnership.
But Samsung and Corning made one exception to the 50-50 split. The partners agreed that the factory would be managed by an American team. Both sides would soon come to regret this arrangement. For even as ground was being broken for the first Samsung Corning factory in the winter of 1973, the Corning team was learning that doing business in Korea was not going to be easy. Despite their years of experience in 2 other Asian countries, they did not anticipate all the challenges of their Korean partnership.
자율과 창의의 기업 문화를 바탕으로 화합하는 조직 체제로 발전시킨다. 1995년 5월 15일
The Koreans are very hierarchical, and the government structure different, the way they do business different, the banking system's different, the shareholders' expectation is much different. So communications in a country like Korea are very difficult.
You have to understand that this is our historical background. Korea traditionally has a Confucian background. If the parents or the boss say something, then you cannot talk back directly. And that carries over into the company, too.
The Koreans' reverence for authority confused the Corning managers, who were used to basing important decisions on feedback from staff members.
I had a controller working for me, and one day I told him, we must change this forecast of cash requirements. And I said, I made a mistake. Perfectly acceptable to admit in the United States or in a Western culture, I just made a mistake. We have to take corrective action and correct the answer. The retort I got back was, no, you did not make a mistake. And I said, what do you mean I did not make a mistake? He just looked at me and said, no, you did not make a mistake. You are the boss.
While Samsung Corning managers were following American orders to the letter, they began to resent the need to clear all operations through the Corning team.
In reporting to upper management, the Samsung Corning people filled out Korean forms. Then, to report to Corning people, they filled out American forms in English and wrote in Korean underneath the English. Having to use this kind of double report on everything was really kind of absurd.
As the factory rose outside of Seoul, these internal miscommunications and unanticipated cultural frictions multiplied. They created delays and heightened tension. A year and a half into the partnership, the joint venture was running behind schedule. Samsung's anxiety about reaching the market quickly intensified.
Frustrations grew. Unfortunately, there were some engineering problems with the equipment. Not problems that in the U.S. would cause undue concern, but where they happened at the time they happened upset our partner very much.
The heightened frustrations created by the communication problems posed a serious threat to the partnership's survival. Executives from both sides met to get the venture back on track.
Both partners felt strongly that if they worked together, the problems would be resolved and they could move on. A standing president was brought in from Samsung to do an assessment for necessary changes and make a recommendation to the partners for consideration.
The Koreans offered to take over the day-to-day responsibilities of managing the company.
We thought we didn't need any person sent from the headquarters of Corning. We could just communicate over the phone, and you could send your representative on a periodical basis, and we can visit Corning.
The communication problems, now clear to everyone, were dealt with. Corning quickly agreed to hand over the management reins to the Koreans. All the American executives left Korea but one.
We had a critical incident that had to be addressed, corrective action had to be taken, and it was.
They pulled out the whole team. I think that was quite sensitive decision for them, and it was difficult decision for them to make, because that was quite unusual doing joint venturing with us. So they relegated all the everyday decision making to the Korean management team. And that really enhanced greatly the trust level. That was, I should say, the turning point.
Empowered to manage the venture on their own, the Koreans were able to create a highly successful and well-managed manufacturing system. The streamlined operation was soon up and running, and the newborn company came away from its early crisis greatly strengthened.
One of the most difficult issues for any partnership to resolve is trust. At what point do you trust your local partner? At what point do you know that your systems and safeguards and controls will be taken into account by that partner? At what point do you allow the partner that's there on the ground and has the day-to-day relationship with the market and the workforce, when do you let them really manage? That's a very difficult issue, and trust is one of the keys to making a partnership work. And sometimes companies have to trust even if they think they're not ready, if they think their partner is not ready, because trust is the clue, the signal to the other partner that this venture is serious and that we're letting both partners contribute what they can to make it succeed.
Within 10 years, Samsung Corning took full advantage of the formidable Korean economic expansion. The company's results exceeded even the most optimistic projections. The joint venture had increased its manufacturing capacity by 500% to keep up with demand. By 1985, Samsung Corning had captured a 60% share of the television glass market in Korea. Samsung Corning diversified its products. Specialty glass for personal computers, automobiles, VCRs, fax machines, and cellular phones rolled off new production lines, opening new markets to both partners. Over the years, each partner has grown to admire, appreciate, and above all, trust what the other has brought to the alliance. Corning goes to great lengths to nurture the partnership. They invest significant amounts of time and money in cultivating their bonds at the executive level. Corning CEO James Houghton makes regular visits to Korea, demonstrating his respect for the Korean culture and emphasizing Corning's strong commitment to the joint venture.
There it is. Good hit.
Key Corning managers have developed personal relationships with their Korean counterparts and pay monthly visits to Korean production sites.
I try to go to every manufacturing locale that they have, visit the factories, talk to the managers and the president of the company, and talk about what's in the planning horizon, what are the issues that they see. And I try to communicate to them some of Corning's expectations as we look at the company of Corning. One of the things that we've recently done in the last couple of years is we have moved a Corning person who happens to be an American Korean, speaks fluent Korean, and he works at Samsung Corning, and that's been very, very helpful in some of the translation problems that we have in trying to understand each other.
Corning has mastered the art of adapting to local cultures in their overseas operations. At the same time, they are committed to instructing their foreign partners in the latest management techniques.
We also bring a lot of management skills to Samsung Corning. Every year, Samsung Corning employees come to Corning. We do training sessions, they do benchmarking sessions, and they've been able to adapt what American companies do, and they've been able to move themselves forward with better management skills and better practices than most Asian countries, faster.
I told our people to learn everything from Corning. Even if you believe you know, still, you must learn and watch what they think and how they do carefully.
To assure the efficient exchange of information at the international level, Corning instituted the 5-year plan, annual plans submitted by Samsung Corning detailing its vision and new projects for the next 5 years. These reports are designed to keep both sides up to date and to uncover conflicts before they are rooted too deeply to control.
You want to take out equivalent at 2?
Complexities come out because you start addressing problems, because you review a plan. 5 years, this is your profitability. You start questioning the market. You start questioning the prices. You start questioning factory location. You have a more intense dialogue.
This ongoing communication has proved essential for both partners to reconcile their very distinct business philosophies. Corning, responsible to its shareholders, emphasizes profitability, while the family-controlled Samsung Group gives priority to growth. The 5-year plans have served to manage this healthy tension that is largely responsible for Samsung Corning's success.
We are a little bit more aggressive in revenue and growth than Corning, partly because of our difference in business culture. Corning as a company has a very long experience and understanding about doing business together with a company which has different heritage and different business climate. So we tend to argue about our own perspectives, but in a very much accommodating fashion.
I think they've pushed us into doing things faster and more aggressively than maybe we would have in many cases, and we've therefore been able to grasp opportunities that we wouldn't have. So in some sense, it's slower, but in another sense, there's a melding of the two cultures that makes it, I think, stronger.
Over the past 25 years, the Samsung Corning partnership has endured challenges that would have divided less trusting and well-organized partners. International partnerships depend upon the commitment of both sides to be prepared to continually face up to problems and find solutions that answer the needs of both companies.
One of the things that has made this partnership work is the depth of management know-how that Corning especially has brought to this partnership, ranging from daily operational connections to long-term plans. Corning knew how to choose international partners with a future. Not just partners that would get Corning something today, but partners that were in companies that wanted to grow and that would use Corning expertise intelligently in order to build their own business. And if you place your bets on partners with aggressive plans for the future, then you can live with them for a very long time and prosper together.